I remember first watching Kakegurui when I thought, I'm going to hate this. And I was right. The first 5 minutes were enough to make me realize how repulsive and vile it was. Adding school into a premise for no good reason is a long-time Achilles heel in anime, but I'm not here to talk about that. We all know why, and if you don't, in short, it's for marketing purposes. I don't really care about schools in anime anymore. What I do care about is if they touch my precious gambling anime. Gambling anime is a very niche Gambling anime is a very niche subgenre within the game genre in anime. These being some great anime like Kaiji to some good stuff like Akagi or Liar Game to even some interesting stuff like Mahjong Hishoden. Among gambling anime, there really isn't any one bad anime. Well, until Kakegurui. On episode 1 of Kakegurui, they literally steal the idea of rock, paper, scissors from Kaiji. The reason why rock, paper, scissors in the form of a card game was so compelling was because there was a rare amount of rocks, papers, and scissors as opposed to playing it with no discards and just hands. That's why characters like Kaiji would try to skew the results in their favor when they realized the papers were all running low, and therefore, he started to maximize and buy rocks to go against the rest of the scissors. All it would take him is time to get the papers down to double or even single digits. Kakegurui instead changed it to a ballot. This sounds like an entirely new idea, but it's really not. The idea of limited rocks, papers, and scissors is exactly the same. It now has the added bonus of luck, which isn't interesting as it belongs to fate instead of the characters. The point of the ballot is that everyone in the class chooses to draw a rock, paper, or scissors and then puts it into a box. Then the players randomly choose 3 cards from the box and then plays the game of rock, paper, and scissors from Kaiji. Although vaguely different in premise, it's essentially the same in practice. The ambiguity is more now since you can't see the direct amount of card types. The main crux of the gamble is that there isn't a definitive choice of starting with all 3 card types. As we're explaining the rules through our main character, there is one major flaw. Our main character says this: it's much more common to end up with uneven hands like 2 rocks and 1 paper. If you get 2 rocks in your hand, chances are rock is the most common card in the box. Now I decided to pull this off to show that this is completely ridiculous. This is where some bias might possibly show, because I usually never see something on paper go according to plan in real life. I asked 30 people or a classroom full of people to choose between rock, paper, or scissors. I then drew the answers on paper where I would then pull the top 3 cards randomly after shuffling them. When I pulled the top 3, it was paper, rock, paper. Like, how come I got 2 papers? Sure, paper was only 3 off from the most popular pick, but really, what use is knowing that the most popular card is a certain type, when the second most popular card will always be undetermined? The next shuffle, I got 2 rocks and a scissor. Like, what's going on here? Am I just supposed to get the hand and go, 2 rocks, so that's the most common? I got a scissor instead of a paper, so therefore that's the second most popular card. I mean, that doesn't work. And in this case, it actually hurts you. Well, how is that a flaw for the main character? He clearly said, chances are. Sure, but a key issue is, how are you going to get into the nitty gritty when something so clearly flawed will get in the way of all the 200 IQ moves? Oh wait, they never get there. I mean, Kaiji goes out and spends all its nitty gritty trying to explore every facet. For instance, opening a large pool of possible plays characters can make within Mahjong, or even exploring a large pool of possible traps and strategies characters can do. How about making a Mahjong game where you can see your opponent's hand through glass with a few exceptions? Akagi shows the win in multiple ways, such as fake outs, having 2 ways of winning, setting up your partner, winning in an obscure way such as Red Dragon, and a midway change-up strategy. It is so deep into the game, and because Fukumoto never drew himself into a corner, he can continue to create different possibilities to continue being interesting. And although that seems unrealistic, Fukumoto doesn't aim for that. Fukumoto is fine with surrendering realism if it makes gambling much better. Kakegurui is definitely giving up authenticity, but only for a 1-episode gamble, and that's because the creator restricted himself too much, or didn't allow himself to flow more creatively to win in terms of writing. But yeah, whatever, none of that matters because the opponent is cheating. Also, they literally took another page from Kaiji, but did it stupidly. Our main character is giving signals behind Jabami's back, and she finds out in a way reminiscent to Sherlock. Sherlock, for all you weebs, is a show that is all about mystery. But the thing is, they never tell us how they solve mysteries. You're following a trail of evidence, and then Sherlock just goes, I got it, and then proceeds to solve the mystery with information that wasn't even shown to the viewer. Jalami found out about the signals because she had a hand mirror, and it was only shown after she won for a big reveal. And worse, Jalami also apparently used the signal he was going to give Saotomi about which card she was going to choose. But here's a few questions about this. 1. How does our main character know what card Jalami is going to play before she plays it? And how is Saotomi supposed to win if they're both choosing a card at the same time and setting it before revealing it? And even if Saotomi is getting signals from Ryota, our main character, why didn't she choose the rock in her hand knowing Jalami was going to play the scissors? It's also kind of funny that our main character is all like, "Duh, I didn't know you had scissors in your hand." By the way, I sure hope they don't use that footage of me exposing myself. But here's the worst part. This is the thing in the episode that made me entirely drop it. This piece of information made Kakegurui go from bad but fun to regretting even watching it. That was the luck Jalami got getting a rare scissors. And they're smug about it too. They just tell me. They're not even hiding it. They're all like, "This isn't even a possibility. We're cheating." And then they just lie to me. Remember, this is just rants from the first episode. Me and Level thought it was so bad that we dropped it on the first episode. And when I went to go watch episode 2 and 3, it was just as frustrating. Kakegurui sucks. Go watch Kaiji.